I'm Rob Friesen, and I'm here in London talking with my friend and colleague Ted Sumner.
Well, it was an idea that came out, I think, between Blackwell's. Blackwell's the publishers. They were the biggest journal publishers in the world in those days, and bigger than Elsevier, and now they're Wiley. But I think they had an idea. A guy there called Stuart Taylor had an idea. It would be because he was the head of the journal publishing, and he saw a niche, or a hole in the market. But I think there were already ideas of Gordon Bush, a wonderful, wonderful person from Liverpool, and Claude Saint-Maurice in France. They got together, and Blackwell's, and Gordon picked an editorial board. And we had the first meeting in Paris, I think in 1987. And we chose the cover, we sort of planned the whole thing, and Blackwell's was, very professional, so they knew what to do. And so I was on the editorial board with Gordon Bush as the editor, and he'd chosen an international, I think it was the idea that with Americans, Nick Goodsouzian was on the editorial board, there was Isabel Murat, there were people, I think, Rob Ayres from Melbourne, and so the idea was that to have an international editorial board, therefore it would sell in all the English-speaking countries. That was the whole idea, even in the United States. So that's how it started. Gordon, I think his idea was to start the journal, and it was always his idea. He told me that I would be the second editor. He would establish it. 3 years he stayed as editor, and then I became the editor. And it was a very uphill and fast learning curve. It was always my idea that we'd have an editorial and then a review article, and there were all sorts of tidbits, Nick Goodsouzian was very keen on having little historical anecdotes or something, and I really liked that. But the problem as I saw it with the journal, and Blackwell were always on at me about it, was the impact factor, and of course, you could raise the journal's profile by having good papers. And then I thought, well, maybe we'll try and we'll try and get some pure science papers and get lots of citations. But then I thought maybe it'll be we can promote it as a service to other countries. I tell you, we worked incredibly hard, and I used to go to a lot of meetings, and of course we usually had our editorial board meetings associated with another meeting, bigger meeting, and I would listen to the talks, and I'd go up to people and say, I really like your talk, put it in an article. So I did a lot of that, and I made overtures to people whose first language was not English, and I always made a point of saying, look, if the content is nice, I'll put it into, and I made a point of that. I regarded that was one of my most important jobs as the editor, was to make these articles readable in English, and I always felt I had very high standards of English, I kept on with the journal until long after I retired. 5 years, I think. But it was the thing I enjoyed the most of all my career. I met, I had this wonderful network of colleagues all over the world. I felt I was doing a good job.